Hi, I'm Glenn Welch, and welcome back to the Bite Harder channel. I want to take a minute just to thank all of our viewers for all the subscribes, all the views on our YouTube channel. Today we thought we'd do something a little different. We're going to take viewer questions. We oftentimes get a lot of questions online from our customers and thought we'd do a segment that would include some of these questions so you could hear the answers as well. So let's jump right in and take our first question. Our first question comes from Wayne Riley from Hillman, Michigan, and he asks, why do Bite Harder tools use diamonds to cut the carbide? Doesn't this make the tools more expensive? The one thing about diamonds are, they're harder than carbide. Carbide is one of the hardest substances known to man. Diamonds are even harder. But yes, you're right, diamonds cost a lot of money. But there is a difference between natural diamonds and man-made diamonds. Natural diamonds take between 1 billion and 3 billion years to produce. That represents somewhere between 25 and 75% of the age of our planet. Man-made diamonds are actually grown in a lab using plasma in special ovens, and they only take between 10 to 12 weeks to produce. Ironically, man-made diamonds and natural diamonds are very, very close. It takes a real professional to tell the difference. Please don't tell my wife that. The diamonds are brazed to our tools using a high heat process. This assures that the diamonds give you the longest life possible, adhere to the tools, and give you the best value for your money. The next question comes from Rick Wells from Ottawa, Ontario. Rick asks, I cannot decide between your standard and Pro Series tools. Can you explain in more detail what the difference is? Rick, the difference is pretty simple. Our standard series tools are designed for convenience. They run in your cordless drill at the speeds your cordless drill runs at. This means portability and anywhere sharpening, anytime. Our professional series tools are designed to run a lot faster. They're designed also to outperform our standard series tools by a factor of 5 to 1. They have to run in a high-speed die grinder, whether it's an electric die grinder or a pneumatic die grinder. What I tell most people is use the standard series tools as a maintenance tool. This is the tool you want to use to maintain your carbide edges and your stud tips. This is a tool that you want to use to sharpen every 400 miles. Again, with the convenience of the cordless drill. If you want to sharpen all the studs in your track, or you have a large family and have a lot of carbide runners to keep sharp, you want to go with the Pro Series tools. Our Pro Series carbide stud sharpener will sharpen 96 studs in less than half an hour. Our Pro Series carbide runner sharpener will do all the studs in a large family in minutes. A lot of repair shops will purchase our Pro Series carbide runner tool to provide a sharpening service for their customers. This means they're using this tool over and over and over again. Our next question comes from John McGuire from Park Falls, Wisconsin. John writes, what does the latest generation of tools mean? John, what we mean by that is every year we take a look at the performance of our products, how long the tools are lasting, how we can give you a better product that gives you more value for your dollar. We look at the diamonds, we look at the bonding material, we look at the design, and we try to make improvements. Over the last 5 years, since Bite Harder has been selling carbide traction sharpening tools, we've improved every year on our products. The best way to ensure that you're getting the latest generation products is to buy direct from Bite Harder through our website at biteharder.com. Our next question comes from Carmen Knight from Duluth, Minnesota. Carmen writes, where's the best place to purchase Bite Harder products in the U.S.? Carmen, the best place to purchase Bite Harder products right now is either on our website at biteharder.com or through Amazon. We do a lot of business through Amazon. Watch our website for specials. Oftentimes we have free shipping and other promotions that you can take advantage of. I also want to mention that in Canada, we use Kimpex as our distributor. Kimpex does a great job at distributing. You can also buy direct from them on their website, kimpex.com. They will ship to your local dealer where you can pick the product up or ship directly to you. Our next question comes from Cedric Swanson from Cresco, Iowa. Cedric writes, what type of tip does Bite Harder Tools put on my carbide runners and carbide studs. Cedric, our carbide runner sharpeners put an edge back on your carbide runners that's different than the V-edge you get from the factory. A V-edge will typically wear down quickly. We put a 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter, call it a hockey skate blade, on the bottom of your carbide. This edge penetrates into anything, ice, hardpack, asphalt, and will give you a longer lasting edge for better performance over a longer period of time. Our stud sharpening tools put a 60-degree edge on your carbide stud. This 60-degree edge was designed by us and is now being used by manufacturers on some of their new studs that came out this year. This is an example. This is a Woody stud, and this is a Max stud. You can see both that 60-degree tip. That is the tip that you get when you use our stud sharpening tools and you resharpen your studs. We found that this tip lasts a lot longer than the traditional tip that you would get when you buy your carbides new, and there's just a very small amount of carbide that protrudes from the end of the stud. Again, Cedric, we call this our AdvantEdge technology. The next question comes from Mel Gray from Fremont, Michigan. Mel writes, why is carbide used on snowmobile traction products, and will bite harder tools sharpen steel or non-carbide traction products? Mel, carbide is used because it is one of the hardest substances known to man, and it will maintain its profile a lot longer than just steel will. Carbide is produced under high heat and pressure from a powdered material. When the diamonds on Bite Harder's sharpening tools come in contact with that, it grinds that powder away to reconfigure or sharpen your carbide traction products. Trying to sharpen steel using diamonds will only load up the diamond wheel, meaning the steel will embed itself in between the diamonds, rendering the tool useless. One of the first questions I ever got after we started selling traction sharpening products was from somebody that said, can I use your tool, your carbide runner sharpening tool, to sharpen the blade on my lawnmower? Because lawnmower blades are made of steel, the steel would load up the tool, again, rendering it useless the next time you'd go to sharpen your carbide traction products on your snowmobile. For those of you that do need sharp lawnmower blades, Lowe's, $6, stone wheel, fits in your drill, does a great job. Our next question comes from Barry Hopkins, who is from Littleton, New Hampshire. Barry writes, will Bite Harder products help my sled avoid darting? They won't help your sled from darting by sharpening your carbide studs, but they will help your sled from darting if you keep your carbide runners sharp. Sharp carbide runners allow your ski, no matter what the conditions are, to get that ski deeper into the snow so that the profile of the ski will do its thing and help avoid getting caught in the ruts from the snowmobile in front of you. Darting is the result of your ski wanting to follow the skis of the snowmobile that is in front of you. Sharp carbide traction products are like a knife cutting through the snow. They will cut their own path. Next we go to Rick Foster. Rick is from Malone, New York, and writes, how long will my Bite Harder tool last? Bite Harder tools are designed to give you the most performance and the longest life possible. What we recommend is more frequent sharpenings instead of less sharpenings. Depending on conditions and where you ride will depend on how many sharpenings you get from your tool. If you're riding continuously and crossing pavement or on lousy riding surfaces, you're going to wear your carbide runners and studs down faster, requiring more sharpenings. Our recommendation is that every 200 or 300 miles on average, you sharpen your carbide runners, and once or twice a year, you sharpen your carbide studs. Again, our standard series tools are a maintenance tool. That's the tool you want to use to keep that edge sharp. Once you feel your skis or your sled pushing in the corners, you know you're ready to sharpen your carbide runners. So to answer your question, you could get as few as 20 or 30 sharpenings from our standard series carbide runner sharpening tool, or you can get as many as 80, which we've gotten on numerous trips when we ride further north up into Canada where there are less road crossings and less abuse and wear on the carbide runners. Our Professional Series stud sharpening tool is designed to give you somewhere between 750 and 1,000 stud sharpenings. Funny story. A couple of years ago at the Toronto International Snowmobile Show, I had one of our customers come up to us and said he was very disappointed in our Professional Series carbide stud sharpening tool. He said to me he only got 30 sharpenings from his tool. He was with a couple other guys, and they were laughing as he was telling me this story. Finally, the truth came out. This gentleman sharpens carbide studs as a service that he provides from his home. The 30 sharpenings he was talking about wasn't 30 single stud sharpenings. It was 30 snowmobiles that he had sharpened. Each snowmobile had on average 144 studs in it. He had got over 4,000 sharpenings with one tool. He came to the Toronto show to buy a new tool because he had eventually worn it out. Let's see who's next. Jamie Dunn from Westport, Ontario writes, in one of your videos, you described the sharpening of a Woody's Grandmaster Pro stud. Does the Bite Harder stud sharpening tool put the same tip back on the stud as when I purchased it new? Yes, it does. This is a Woody's Grandmaster Pro stud, and this is a sharpened Woody's Grandmaster Pro stud. Manufacturers, as I had mentioned before, are now using our technology to put that 60-degree edge on there. As we move forward into next season, you're going to be able to buy tools that will give you additional edges as well, 45 degrees and so on. Watch for those as we progress into next season. Not only do we resharpen the Grandmaster Pro to the original configuration that you got it, but as I said earlier, our carbide stud sharpening tools will sharpen any stud from any manufacturer out there back to that perfect 60-degree tip that will give you much better wear and much better hookup. As we say at Bite Harder, hook up and hold on. Our last question for this segment comes from Stuart Santos, who lives in Montpelier, Vermont. Stuart writes, will the carbide runner sharpener sharpen dual runners, and what is the closest spacing between the runners that it will work? A lot of people do use dual runners nowadays, and yes, they do help. We find a single runner that's kept sharp is just as effective as dual runners. However, if you do use dual runners, as long as there's a ½ inch spacing on center between your runners, our tools will sharpen your dual runners. In addition, we also get questions about how close can we sharpen from a stud spacing standpoint. If your studs are spaced at 1.25 inches apart, our standard series stud sharpening tool will get in and sharpen your studs without a problem. Our Professional Series tool will sharpen studs that are only 1 inch apart. This is about the closest you're going to see a pair of studs, no matter how you have them set up in your track. Pretty much our stud sharpening tools will sharpen any kind of configuration or setup you have in place. Keep in mind that Bite Harder products not only work on conventional carbides, but we do work on Skidoo's Pilot TS-style steering stabilizer bars and Snow Tracker wear bars as well. The only carbide runners that we don't sharpen are the Bergstrom triple point carbide runners. That's because they use 3 carbides in there, and our tools aren't small enough to get in and sharpen all 3 carbides. That's the questions we're going to be answering for today. Feel free to send your questions in, info@biteharder.com, and we'll try to get them right back to you. Look forward to doing another segment where we can take some of those questions and share the answers with you. Again, I want to thank everybody for your patronage, for viewing our Bite Harder channel. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the bell icon for updates as we post new videos.